So we had engaged in horizontal activity.
Yes. Not vertical?
No, it was horizontal.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it was vertical.
Go ahead. Keep going.
And she got to the point where we were in action, and she said in my ear, "Go deeper. Stay with me now." And what hurt me is I was already all the way in. So I had ran out of pee-pee.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Hello everyone, it's your boy Pooh. So today I'm going to participate in a little game you guys set up for me, which is a make me choose between anime ladies. It's a part of Valentine's month from February 15th to March 15th. And so in this video, you guys post 2 anime ladies, and you tell me if it's for a relationship or for thirst, and I choose between them. It's a stupid tongue-in-cheek video, it's just for laughs, it's not to be taken seriously. It's mostly a chance for me to make jokes and people to participate in some channel shenanigans. However, this is your warning. While I like to drop knowledge and tidbits during these things, if you are not interested in some lowbrow humor and learning more about me than anyone should except for maybe a therapist, then turn the video off, okay? If you continue this, it's your fault, okay? You can't blame me. Alright, if this ain't for you, then stop, alright? Still here? Cool. Now, let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna do I gotta click newest because for some reason when it comes to community notes, and you don't click the newest, then it doesn't show all of the posts for some reason. Also, for the Barks vs. Mug meme, I did have some Barks today, actually. So, yeah, support Barks. Mug troglodytes suck. Sorry, Cole. Okay, so I'm going to start with Chewy Buka, or Bucka. Sorry, dude, I don't know exactly how to say your name. Please let me know in the comments. I know you watched the video. Okay. Hey, Pooh. Hello. Thirst and romance. Okay, let's see. Katarina, non-pregnant in Cowboy Bebop pilot episode. Oh, yes. The woman that, met Spike. And yeah, I remember her. Versus Haski from Dragon Ball Filler. Ooh. Wait, thirst and romance was both. Katarina thirst, Haski for romance. Katarina thirst because I think I'm just more attracted to her, whereas Katarina, I don't respect people very much who are obviously going to be in a relationship that is not healthy for them, but they stay in it as if they have like something tethered to them by the neck. I've dealt with a lot of friends and people online and offline that have kept themselves in relationships because they're scared of leaving it. And I've done my best to help people like that. They've asked me to help. It's not like I just like throw myself into their life. Like they ask me to help. Horrible things have been done to them. But just at this point, I've lost a lot of sympathy for that kind of thing. They're lost. They just get stuck in that. I've spent countless hours helping friends and family and people who desperately need it, who just cannot follow the advice that you give them. They just can't. No matter how reasonable the advice is, they just stay in it. And then it comes back to bite them in the ass. So I cannot be with Katarina in a relationship because, one, if she'll get with that guy, the guy who she's with, that drug addict murderer, then I can't respect that. But two, if she got with me, then I think like, is it because she likes me or is it because she feels stuck? So like I also just wouldn't have respect for her either. I just can't do that. So yeah. But I guess I do. I guess I am. I would thirst over her a little bit more. Yeah. But Haski, I mean, she is crazy, or at least dangerous. But if we're in a relationship, she would at least, I would stay in it until I felt like she wouldn't treat me well. But I feel like she'd treat me well for a relationship. I feel like so. I think it'd be fun. But I also have poor taste in fictional women. Okay. Let's see. Dead Meme 7030 says, "Shit, you're a Lupin fan? Didn't know you knew Ball like that." Dude, I want to see more Lupin the Third. I've seen a bunch of it, especially in Adult Swim. I really like it. I want to rewatch everything from all parts, but that would take so long. It's almost like a One Piece commitment. Okay, so you say, okay, Fujiko versus Yoruichi. Ooh, they're both baddies, but which one is the baddest? Okay, so if they're both baddies, then I think you mean Thirst. God, that's difficult, man. Like, Fujiko. I'd have to go with Fujiko. Fujiko. There's something about Fujiko that, look, Yoruichi is sort of like textbook the kind of character that I would like. I love ponytails. I love, like, older women. I love powerful women. I love women that are brown-skinned or tan-skinned or very like that. I love all of that. So I really like Yoruichi, but there's something about Fujiko that is insanely attractive. I think I just like... I love her personality. She's hot as fuck, let's be real. And, like... Yeah, I can't... It's Fujiko. I have to say Fujiko. But they are both baddies, and Yoruichi is generally textbook me. So that's a difficult one. Alright, now let's go to Arsene Bors. Arsena Bors. Alright, I hate this guy's post. Okay, I'm going to say this about a few people. Don't worry, if I say I hate you or I hate your post, I don't actually hate you. But, okay, let's just go down the list first. Okay. Yuzuriha from Hell's Paradise versus Ubel from Freerun Thirst. Fuck you. Sagiri Hell's Paradise versus Hawkeye FMA relationship. Fuck you. Faye Cowboy Bebop or Android 18 DB Thirst. Fuck you, dude. Julia Bebop from Bebop or Launch from DB. Dude. Lee Howe Apothecary Diaries or Lust FMA. Alright. I hate you so much. Method, I forgot how you say her name, or versus, from Freerun, or Gine from Dragon Ball. Okay, that's a little bit easier. But still, yeah, I even said, fuck dude, this is already difficult. Alright, look. Let's start at the top. Yuzuriha from Hell's Paradise, or Ubel from Freerun. I'm going to do my best to put all these characters on the screen so you know who we're talking about. Man, that's insane, dude. I don't like this. I'm not having fun anymore. Look. Okay, I am currently watching both of these right now. I'm rewatching Season 1 of Hell's Paradise, and I'm almost finished with Season 1 for a rewatch as well from Freerun. Okay, Look, they're both people that would kill me. Or could kill me. But they're also like they got... Okay, Ubel's English voice fucks me up. I shouldn't stick on this. Okay. I'm just going to say Yuzuriha. Because she has a personality like Fujiko. And I feel like she would care a little bit more about my well-being. And they're both pretty attractive. I will say that the fan artists really, really exaggerate Ubel in a lot of ways. Whereas Yuzuriha, you can't really exaggerate her more because she's generally that good. But Yuzuriha, because I think she's the biggest baddie from Hell's Paradise. And Ubel is the second biggest baddie in Freerun. I think Flam or Flamma is the biggest baddie in Freerun. But Ubel's super close. So I'll say Yuzuriha, but I hate that. Okay. Sagiri, Hell's Paradise, or Hawkeye, FMA relationship. Man, Sagiri's cute. She could cut my head off, like that. But Hawkeye could also just kill me without a gun. Fuck, man. Like, I don't like you. I just... Did Mossad pay you to hurt me like this? Like, I don't... Okay. Hawkeye. I'll go with Hawkeye, because I feel like she could fit in with regular life a little bit better in the modern day, if they're even in my world. And I guess I would like to go to the FMA world more, and also I can pass for a very reasonable Mustang. So I feel like I'd be her type. Whereas Sagiri, she's super cute, but yeah, I'm going to take with that logic. Okay. Faye from Bebop or Android 18 DB Thirst. So which would I rather bump uglies with? Damn, man. I'll say Android 18. Well, no, I'm not betraying myself. Android 18. Especially if it's future Android 18, which is horrible for me to say, but they make her extra bad. Okay, Julia from Bebop or Launch from DB. Okay, I acknowledge that Julia is attractive, but I'm going to go with Launch pretty much easily. You get 2 for the price of 1. They both have good strengths. And I think that Launch is just a little bit prettier, in my opinion, even though Julia is obviously... She's made to be attractive. She's made to be the lost Lenore for Spike. But also, you don't see Julia a ton. You only see her near the very end. I shouldn't spoil Bebop for those who haven't seen it. I apologize. I'm not going to say anything that happens. Just, you do see her. Okay. Now, this next one really fucked me up. Lee Howe, Apothecary Diaries, or Lust from Full Metal Alchemist, Thirst. Okay, so this is Thirst. Okay. So it's not relationship. That makes it easier. Because I'm glad people didn't really bring up a bunch of Apothecary Diaries characters. At first I was surprised and somewhat disappointed. Because, like, I didn't watch the show for that. But you can't help but be like, this is frustrating. And Lee Howe is my favorite of the Emperor's consorts. But Lust is just insanely hot. Okay, I was wondering for a while if Lust had the right parts, you know? But she does. She does, because if you look at the manga, then she is pretty much human in almost all ways. And she is with Havoc for a bit. Havoc could have gotten with her in that way. That is possible. And they wouldn't have sent her to date Havoc if it wasn't for the fact that she could do that. So it is possible. I'm gonna say Lee Howe. I'm gonna say Lee Howe because I don't think that Lust would be very responsive to my needs. I think that Lee Howe would. And I also think that Lee Howe is unfairly built to not... Alright, okay. I've never read the manga for Apothecary Diaries. Okay, the Apothecary Diaries they're light novels that are adapted into both manga and anime. So the light novel is the canon source material, unlike Dragon Ball, which would be the manga, which would be the source material. So the manga of Apothecary Diaries is not necessarily the most canon part. But if you've seen her in the anime and in the manga, that's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. Fucking... And Lee Howe has that ponytail that I like. And I like the color of her hair. Okay. But Lust is insanely bad. I'll say this much. Lee Howe for Thirst, but Lust for Relationship. Now, I know that sounds toxic that I would choose Lust for Relationship. Because Lust is evil. But I also feel like that if Lust came to my world, she could fit into society a bit more. she's okay. Li Hao's also very high class, but Lust would be very high class, and I feel like she'd fit in a bit better. And I also like a little bit of danger. You know what I mean? But I will say that homunculi, Lust and Envy particularly, they kill people that they like. In fact, if they like someone, then they kill them. It's better when they kill them. They savor it more, actually, in Full Metal Alchemist. So I feel like a relationship, as long as I can make it last with Lust, it works, and she won't kill me. However, if I sleep with her, then even if she wants to, even if it's consensual, which it would be, obviously, but like even after that, she would very likely just kill me. Whereas Li Hao would be very tentative to my needs. I'd be tentative to hers. And then, I'd be like, can I buy some coffee? Like it would, yeah, that would be it. Whereas with Lust, I feel like we would be done. She wouldn't really let me do a lot, and then I would be impaled, which would suck. But even if it wasn't for the fact that she would kill me, even if she said it promised she wouldn't kill me and she didn't, I'd still probably go Li Hao for that. Okay, now Method, Frieren, or Gine for Dragon Ball. Method. I hope I'm saying her name correctly, because in Frieren, she's just taller with bigger boobies. I just like that. Gine is so cute. I feel like hugging her. And it's said in the anime that Frieren smells Method, and she also smells very nice, apparently. And also, she's a master of like enchantment magic, and I think that's really neat too. As a fantasy writer, sorceresses are pretty sexy to me. Okay, but yeah, dude, that shit fucked me up. I hate you. But thank you for those questions. All right, Turkey Pear. Hi, Poohead. Hello. Dr. Arinsu versus Android 21. Neutral relay. Fuck you, man. I'm gonna throw myself off a building, guys. Okay. Then you have Ronfon versus Colonel Violet. I hate you again. Marin, Krillin's X versus Fern. Frieren Thirst. Fuck you. Okay, this is me. This is making me understand the frustration of someone having to choose between things that they enjoy. It's like asking me, who would you want to not be deleted forever, Yamcha or future Gohan? And I'm like, I don't want to choose, man. I don't like this. Okay. With Dr. Arinsu, we're going to assume she has all the right parts. It's very ambiguous if Kai's or Glynn's, as it said in Daima, have that. It's ambiguous. We know that Kinkai pees or pisses, but they're also supposed to be asexual in the form of not having a sex, so it's very difficult to say. But I'm just going to assume she's a she. Versus Android 21. I don't know if I could choose this. I really can't, because they're both insanely attractive to me in different ways. I have a big weakness for dark elves. I grew up reading a bunch of fantasy fiction, which is why I write it now. And dark elves have always been very sexy to me, and sorceresses. And Dr. Arinsu is both. And, I mean, she's not a dark elf, obviously, but she looks just like one. And I love her wardrobe, and I love that she's conniving, and the English voice fucks me up. But at the same time, Android 21, I also have a big Arabian Nights kink. I'm gonna be real. I love it. And Android 21, both in her lab outfit and in her boo outfit, just fits that. And she... Alright, I don't know if I could decide that one. I really don't know. It's just... How do you live with yourself, man? How... Did you think about, how do I hurt Poohead today? Was that your thoughts? I can't choose that one. I can't. Okay, maybe I'll go back to it, but that's just... Okay. Ronfa versus Colonel Violet. That is also difficult, but I'm going to go with Colonel Violet. Because, I feel like Ronfon... I actually put Ronfon in my Goku and Marin fanfic. She's Marin's aunt. I made a little headcanon and put her in the fanfic. Y'all should read that. I think Ronfon's a little too easy. I think she'd make it a little too easy. I like I don't like the striptease kind of thing. I never understood stripteases, like going to a gentleman's club or something. I never understood strippers because you're paying money to get teased. Why would you pay money for that? It's not fun. Colonel Violet, though, I feel like she'd steal jewels, start a civil war in a paramilitary organization, but then she would also be, if she's with me in a relationship, I feel like I'd be able to help in something exciting. Whereas with Ron Fon, I don't think so. Then again, Ron Fon could also kick my ass. Who's this? Oh, my bad. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go Colonel Violet. Okay, Marin, Krillin's ex versus Fern Freeran. Thirst. Okay, if it's thirst, I'm going with Marin. If it was a relationship, I go with Fern. Then again, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind Marin in a relationship as long as she didn't lose interest very quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Marin. Fern is my type, and she's also a magic user, which is great. But at the same time, I think Marin looks a lot like Bulma, and I do like Bulma a lot, and I've grown fond of Marin after writing for her in my crack pairing fanfic. So I'm gonna go with Marin. Okay. Yes. Hopefully these are close enough to where you may need to ponder your answers. Yes, they are. Thank you. All right. Figmenter, Revy, Black Lagoon, or Faye, Cowboy Bebop relationship. Both have their quirks and issues. If it were a thirst category, the choice might be easier, but I'm curious what's your reasoning might be if it were relationship. If it was thirst, it would be easier. It'd be Revy. Revy is almost everything that I think is super attractive in a woman, but the smoking is a no-go for me. Whereas with Faye, I like conniving girls. I like girls that this is all for fictional characters, obviously. I'm not going to date someone who would do this, but I do like a con artist, and I feel like Faye, it'd be fun to go bounty hunting, whereas I think Revy, she's a little bit too nihilistic, I think. But Revy does fuck me up, though. But I'll go with Faye for that one. Yeah. I feel like Faye's a little bit more fun. Even when Faye complains, she's fun. Okay, Speedy Vinderman 6188. Revy, again, Black Lagoon, or Yoruichi from Bleach. This is purely thirst. Both kind of have a similar vibe character-wise. I want to know who does it better in your opinion. Damn, man. You guys just... You know what Android 20 did to that random civilian, I'm going to do to y'all, because this is just... I can't... Okay. Purely for thirst, Revy. Purely for thirst, it's Revy. Well... No, I cannot fault her. It is Revy. I'll go with that. I think, like, Yoruichi and Revy are very, very similar vibe, like you said, character-wise. Very true. Like, I love the crop top. And I like bearing your midriff on women. I love the ponytails. I do tend to go for darker skin. That's why there's like the meme of, I like Latinas. Fucking, I think it's because I've seen Black Lagoon more recently, but I posted it when I was doing that joke saying how much I was thirsting over, but when I was watching Black Lagoon, there were various times when I was like, all right, I get it. Because, she's not shown to be very, very... She's not portrayed as someone who's, this sex object that is supposed to be just thirsted, but, she's effortlessly attractive to the point where, when you see that... There's a scene where you can barely see her, it's just a silhouette of her. But even with that poor lighting, I'm like, she's bad. So I'm going to go with Revy. Revy is my top girl in Black Lagoon. Yoruichi is number 2 for Bleach. Rangiku is my favorite in Bleach. Okay, but this, just for thirst, I'd probably go with Yoruichi for relationship. Okay, King of the Kaioshin, hello buddy. Launch relationship 2 or Unohana relationship? Launch. I'm not really that big into Unohana. No shade to those who are. But Launch is definitely more my speed. Kubo makes some real baddies, but I like the way that he draws faces sometimes doesn't get me. It's not as bad as One Piece's faces, but still. Okay. Mega Will Prime 16. Revy or Launch. Both are gunslinging rude female characters, personally. Both are gunslinging rude female characters. Personally, I think Revy is cooler and has a more interesting backstory. And I say, remember, gotta add thirst to relationship, but he never did add thirst to relationship. Yeah, I'll say Revy for thirst and Launch for relationship. Revy smokes, I can't. I got asthma, and I'm very health conscious, and I can't handle the smoke. But Revy for thirst, definitely. Unless the... Then again, maybe I'd want to breathe during. Okay, alright. Sea Salt. Hi, Poohead. I love showing up in your videos. I go, wait a sec, that's me. It's nice anyways. Hey, I'm glad to see you, dude. Okay, for thirst, we got Android21. You can think of Majin form if you want. Versus Yoruichi. You say good luck, dude. Okay. For relationship, this was kind of tough to come up with because I only know the limited stuff from you in the Q&A. But we got Genkai from Yu Yu Hakusho and Chi-Chi. Okay. Both of them are martial artists and both have a good head on their shoulders, so I'm really interested in who you pick for the two. I'm sorry if this is like a worser type question for you. It's not a worser type. You're good. Man, how come y'all gotta put Yoruichi against all these, like, my tops? Because Yoruichi, she's insanely cool and insanely attractive and insanely, like, desirable. But, like, you put her against Android 21, and that's like putting her against, like an OC that I would make if I could. Like, Android 21. I was about to say Yoruichi because I'm not going to tell you what I was thinking. But Android 21, I'll say. Just, yeah. Okay. Now for relationship, Chi-Chi or Genkai? Genkai. Like the young Genkai. Because I feel like Chi-Chi would be a good wife until we had a child. And then I would be like 5th on the list of importance. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't prioritize your child over your husband or wife. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that, like, it's ridiculous how low in the totem pole you get with Chi-Chi. Yeah, okay. But good points though. All right, now. Okay, and Kayefti, I hope I'm saying that name correctly. How could I not start with Revy and Faye, dealer's choice? Did someone ask me that before? They did, didn't they? Yes, yeah, Figmentor asked me that. Figmentor asked me for relationship, so I will go with thirst, and I will say Revy. Revy just... She could beat me to death, and I would thank her. Okay, David Phillips, Z1083. Ubel from Freerun. Nice. And Bombietta Basterbean from Bleach. Thirst, and for thirst, the comparatively low-key dangerous Ubel versus the high-key dangerous Bambietta. Which danger would you submit yourself to? That's true. Bambietta did cut someone in half that she was flirting with. Okay. Next is Freerun versus Rukia. I'll read your thing for that after. Next is Sango versus Balma. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, let's just start from the top. Okay. Ubel. Because I like Ubel's style more. Bambietta is a baddie, but, like, I think that Ubel is much more playful and much more fun. And while they both kill people, I feel like that Ubel would usually kill someone who deserves it, like bandits, whereas Bombietta, I would have to deal with her killing innocent people daily. Freerun or Rukia? You say relationship. So this relationship with the added caveat: you're a human still with with the added caveat that you're a human still in with her case, so both would outlive you. Perhaps your soul might go on to reunite with Rukia in the Soul Society, but that's not a guarantee. That's true. Think of it more as what you can bring to the table for them that would make it worthwhile in a relationship, considering how short things will be from their perspective rather than just what they can do for you. That's a good thought experiment. Okay, people are going to disagree with me here. I'm someone who thinks that Frieren herself is a adolescent elf. I don't think she's fully grown. I think she is like a 12-year-old in elf years. So that would not be good, obviously. And I'm not really attracted to either of them very much. But I think Frieren would, like, if Frieren isn't, if she's just a short stack. No, I'll go with Rukia. Because I feel like I could help her stress less. I think Frieren's much better being an introvert without somebody, unless she's with Himmel. I think Rukia does stress a lot. I think that she would need someone who tends to be pretty calm. And I tend to be pretty calm. And I think that Rukia would have nice things to teach me, and I could teach her pretty well. And I'd be pretty understanding. Whereas with Frieren, I think she doesn't need that as much. Okay, now Sango Inuyasha, in the context of your thirst for her, or some my thirst for her, and Bulma Dragon Ball in the context of being in a relationship with her. Ooh. I think you mentioned the Sango is one of your fave waifus before. That's true. Sango is the best woman in all of fiction, in my opinion. And also that you do anything for a ponytail. Bulma, I did say that. So I figured it would be fun to force you to decide between the two, each in what I think is their worst element here. Bulma in a relationship, and Sango as just your retraction. Which feeling inside you would you pick? Damn. This isn't a frustrating question, but it is extremely difficult. Bulma. I'd say Bulma, because if I got with Sango once, then I would feel robbed for like when I was when I was like 13 or 14, Sango was like my first ever anime crush. And ever since then, I've always thought she's just an insanely cool character. She's a great character. She like is shot with arrows and stabbed, and she digs herself out of her own grave. That's badass, dude. Sango is cool. And she wields a boomerang that is twice the size of a fully grown man. She's super strong. And she's also very smart and very kind. You know, she has a badass side, but she has a very kind side. And I feel like she's worth more than that. Whereas with Bulma, I feel like it'd be a very fun relationship. As long as, there'd be problems, but I don't think a relationship should be perfect. You should have problems because that's kind of the spice of life, as long as it's not relationship breaking problems or incessant problems. But having one of us being very calm and one of us being high key, I don't think that's wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So Bulma, I'll choose Bulma. Okay, and seeing as the point is to stump you, Pooh, yeah, I figure I'll throw in another variable similar to the theme here. A TRK, thirst, relationship, or kill. Okay, where you have 3 gals and have to pick from. One to thirst over, one to start a relationship with, and one to kill. If you prefer this idea for future video, then go ahead and save the trio below. No, I think that's a good idea. Okay, Winry Rockbell, FMA. She's cute, dedicated, caring, mechanical skills, could possibly kick my ass, yeah. Videl, DBZ pre-Boo. Okay, so spunky, superhero, rich tsundere could definitely kick my ass. She definitely could. Or Maki from JJK, post Zenian Crash Out. Okay, so, gotcha, so she's killed everybody already. Okay, hot, scarred, kind of kudere, no bad relatives to deal with at Thanksgiving. Would definitely make you feel it when she beats your ass yeah, you right. Also, just for everyone who knows, I'd say this at the beginning of every video, but I kind of forgot to say it this time. We're only talking about characters that are portrayed as young women or above. No child characters. And so we're going to assume that they're all of age. Let's see. Man, that's difficult because, like, if I was to go with what I want the most, I think I know what I want, but also they would not deserve that. The characters themselves, they wouldn't deserve that. But this is, I guess, just what I want, so I guess I'll go with Maki Thirst, Videl relationship, and Winry kill. But Winry does not deserve that. She's a nice person. But very good. Thank you for trying to stump me. Okay, now this next one. Kagome or Kikyo relationship. One is quite literally a reincarnation of the... Oh, so sorry. This is CZ-Steve5. So C, Steve 5. Kagome or Kikyo relationship. One is quite literally a reincarnation of the other, and both are love interests for Inuyasha, so I really want to see which one you prefer. I would go Kikyo. I like Kagome. I think she's great. I have nothing against Kagome. Whenever you choose one or the other, everyone thinks you hate the other. That's not true for me. But I think Kikyo is generally powerful, confident, serene, and generally a really good person. And Kagome is more of a normal girl, and she's great. I'm not going to say she's not great. But, like, I also like Kikyo's wardrobe better, and just, like, I feel like Kikyo and I will be more compatible, I think. Okay, so the next one is Yura of the Demon Hair or Kagura for Thirst. Both are hot demons. That's very true, but I'm going with Kagura. Kagura is insane, dude. Kagura's great. She's ultra sexy, man. Like Yura is obviously very attractive, but I gotta go with Kagura. I love her red eyes, too. People don't notice that, but she's got really pretty red eyes. But, yeah. Kagura is one of my tops. It's Sango, and then right below is Kikyo and Kagura together. They're great. Okay. For Inuyasha. Okay, I love the Inuyasha questions. Thank you so much. Okay, also, if the audio sounds different right now, it's because I had to stop my recording because I promised some friends I would play Diablo 2 with them, and then I promised some other friends that I would talk to them and catch up for a bit. So this is about 5 hours later, if you're listening to this. Anyway, I saw someone post that they think foot fetishes are, like, spiritually left-leaning, and if that's the case, then call me a fucking young Republican, because I ain't into feet. I don't know how someone could... I don't understand. I mean, okay, I shouldn't kink shame, but, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm a simple man. A pretty face is obviously a given. You already know that usually I like dark-haired. There's something about the slim shoulders, and then the big boobies, and then it sort of slopes into this tiny waist before it burgeons into this fat ass that just... I can't... Let's move on. Let's continue. Okay, so Kagome... Okay, Doxine, or Doxine... I need to learn how to say these names. Kagome versus Valise relationship. And Valise is the brown-haired girl from GT that Goten is dating. Doxine says, Kagome is slightly tsundere, and she's got the whole isekai thing, like her thirsty dude friend who couldn't score. You mean Hojo? Dude, Hojo, he deserved better. He truly did. But she's got lots of practical knowledge and knows how to cook and stuff. Meanwhile, Valise is incredibly ditzy, and she'd be overly amazed at a lot of simple things you do. That's true. And you'd also have to teach her very simple things like how to eat an ice cream cone without a spoon. I only selected these options because I would guess that you'd like Valise for her appearance, but maybe Kagome for her personality/practicality in a relationship. I could be way off, though, and this could be a very easy choice for you. You are correct. I do think that Valise is a cute character, and I do think that she would be fun to date, potentially, but I'd have to go with Kagome. I do like intelligence. Now, okay, if a girl is ditzy and maybe a little dumb, there's some girls that are ditzy in a way that's very endearing, like I think Krillin's ex-girlfriend Marin. But and Felice isn't bad, but I think Kagome probably because her hair is darker. I generally do like dark hair. I think she's adorable. I think that she does grow into a very capable woman. And I think that she becomes a powerful priestess, and, you know, she's very brave. Whereas Valise, it just doesn't have it. She's just a very more typical girl. Not to say Kagome isn't a typical girl, but, like, you know, she really grows into someone who is very valuable. Okay, good one, though. But, like, you were correct on reading me, though. Okay, Nora YC6FI. I'd have said Yamcha or Tien, but you specified only women, so you win this time semantics. But then you say Zangia or 18 for Thirst. Okay, and Zangia is the orange-haired woman in BoJack Unbound that BoJack kills at the end of the movie, just to be a dick. That's rough. Probably 18. Zangia is very cute. Very pretty, but like 18... There's something about 18 that you just can't... Yeah. I'll just go with 18. But, you know, since you said Yamcha Tien, I mean, dude, Tien is my favorite character. But Yamcha looks more like me. I guess because Yamcha is canonically the most handsome, I'll go with Yamcha. Okay, next is first name 3343. First, some Dragon Ball ones, okay. Relationship, Mai from OG Dragon Ball, okay. Or launch, blonde. Launch. Definitely. Mai is very attractive, but Launch has that gumption, that style. She's dangerous, but I also feel like she wouldn't be dangerous to you if she really liked you. And she could... And, like, I feel like she would probably like me throwing her around, and she could easily throw me around, too. But Mai is a good choice, though, because Mai is that sort of, like... Well, I don't want to say secret agent, because she's more of just a henchman, but yeah, I'll still go with Launch. Okay, for Thirst, Chilai or Fasha... Chilai. I'll go with Chilai. Fasha... For some reason, Fasha just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. I think she's a cool character, but doesn't do it for me that way. Okay, and I've also heard you mention Hunter x Hunter before. That's true. I do like Hunter x Hunter. Thirst, Neferpito, really? Or Machi, Hunter x Hunter. Oh, wait, Machi, easily. Neferpito, I think, is a male. But even if Neferpito was not, because Neferpito does seem to be more feminine, I'd still go with Machi. Machi's really cool. She's deadly, she's competent, she's not stupid, and I think she's really cute. I like the way she has her hair. And you said unrelated, but between Black Lagoon, Inuyasha, and Yu Yu Hakusho, which would you recommend first to someone who hasn't watched any of them? Okay. Black Lagoon is a much more... Well, okay, I shouldn't say this. I was about to say it's very group-oriented, but all of them are very group-oriented. I would say Black Lagoon if you want a fish-out-of-water story and you want something dark, gritty, and with gangsters and international relations and explosions. Inuyasha also has a fish out of water, but it's sort of a little bit more wholesome, but there's also a lot of dark stuff. In fact, I would say Inuyasha is almost as dark as Black Lagoon, actually, because Inuyasha, despite the fact that it is just a manga and an anime for... people always call it the Dragon Ball Z for girls. Despite it being a very sweet manga, demons are rampant everywhere, and you can never find a village in Inuyasha that is not butchered by samurai or demons. It's crazy. Inuyasha has a lot of folklore in it, and more sword and sorcery than Black Lagoon, which has more bullets and blood. Yu Yu Hakusho, though, is the one that's most like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Although it is a little bit darker than Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, because in Yu Yu Hakusho, the tournaments, killing is not only allowed, but encouraged. All of them are really good, though. I can say this much. Inuyasha is the longest. That one is about 160-something episodes, and then you add the final act, which is another 20, I think. So that's about 180-something. Black Lagoon is just 28 episodes, and Yu Yu Hakusho is 112. I recommend all of them, but first, maybe Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, I'll say Yu Yu Hakusho. But yes, I hope I answered your question well enough. Okay, some guy 391. Hey, I won't be late for this one. No, you're not. Let's see. Okay, 1. Relationship. Android 18 or Videl. Either Z or Super for either one if it changes anything for you. And 2 is a joke meme question. You can skip this one in the video. Thirst, Bubbles, or Gregory? Okay, Android 18 or Videl? Android 18. Easily. Videl I do like, and I think she's cool, but I also think she's, I don't know, 18 has that sort of, like, energy. You know what I mean? 2, joke meme question, you skip this one in the video. No, I won't skip it. Thirst, Bubbles, or Gregory? If I had to choose, probably Gregory, I guess. It would always be weird with bestiality. I mean, like, no. I mean, I guess both would be bestiality because Gregory is a cricket. He just doesn't seem like a real cricket, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. If I had to choose, but I wouldn't obviously want to. But anyway. Let's see. Gorgoyle 13. You know, when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3 and various games like that, for some reason, and furries, I shouldn't kink shame, but like, I think bestiality is way too accepted in society. You know? You can quote Poohhead on that. You know, people got on there just to sleep with a bear. It's very strange. These people need to be stopped. Okay, Gorgoyle 13. Relationship. Ubel from Frieren or Arensu Dragon Ball Daima. I don't... Good lord. Arensu. I would hate to betray Ubel because I feel like that's a hugely missed opportunity. But Arensu, definitely, I would think. Okay, Thirst, Hananami from JJK. Okay, or Semi's Perfect Cell. Enlarged form, unable to explode. Dragon Ball Z. When you said Hananami, I was like, who is that again? But yes, I see Hananami there. Okay. I think Semi-Perfect Cell, because... What's happened to I just... Imagine Semi-Perfect Cell, he taunts Goku. And he taunts Gohan. Goku's like, I better sacrifice myself, and then I just waltz up. What's up? And Cell, for some reason, can't explode anymore. I would save the world. Okay. Default 653. Okay. Misato or Ritsuko from Evangelion. Oh, in relationship. I'm just curious because I feel like both have their own problems going on, so choosing realistically might be difficult. Misato. Definitely Misato. Now, I like Ritsuko, but Misato, her problems that she's dealing with, I have dealt in girlfriends before. Ritsuko's problem is a problem I don't think I ever want to deal with in a girlfriend. Ritsuko's, she gets... Okay, if you haven't seen Evangelion, don't listen to this. But she gets with Gendo, the man her mother got with, because he was available. It's almost like her way of both getting back at her mother and also sort of one-upping her mother. But also, Gendo clearly does not value her, but she fools herself into thinking that she is valued, and she believes his lies. And like I said before, I've helped a bunch of people that were in relationships that they were fooling themselves about. And then they would come to me and say, this is all wrong, what do I do? And I tell them what to do, and then they don't listen and get back with them because apparently they're not Hitler, and so that makes them someone that they should stay with for the next 5 years, even though they regret it. And that would be a Ritsuko thing, and I'm tired of that. I loathe that. This doesn't make me dislike Ritsuko as a character. It's a very realistic portrayal of a typical problem you see with someone in a relationship. Just like Misato. Misato's problem, she has a daddy complex in a weird way of saying it, but it's not in a stereotypical way that makes it bland. You know, when I first saw Evangelion, I thought, okay, so they actually managed to do a girl who has a father problem without making it generic. And I thought that was interesting. But Misato, I have had someone who broke up with me because they were afraid of commitment and they were afraid of how much they cared about me and how much I seemed to care about them, because I did care about them. And then later on down the line, they admit it's because of fear. And Misato did that to Kaji. But I also think that Misato is just more fun in general. For the positives in a relationship, I think she's just more fun. And yes, I am attracted to her more as well, but like, I think she's just, yeah. I don't really drink, but she's a heavy drinker, but I have fun with people who drink. And I feel like that she would not be bored that I wouldn't really drink much. She doesn't really smoke. She has a pet penguin, which is a huge plus, dude. And yeah. Misato, definitely. Good question, though. Okay, Springlock Anon. Hey, buddy, what's up? Poohead, are you cracking Android 18 or 21? When you say cracking, I assume you're referring to the colloquial term that many Zoomers use to mean coitus. And if this is a thirst thing, man, I feel like I'm betraying Android 21. I mean, I feel like I'm betraying Android 18, but I would have to say it's 21. For a relationship, you'd definitely be 18. But for a thirst thing, it would be 21. 21 is... She was custom built for that. Sounds horrible. But she was made to be a thirst character. Then again, I guess 18 was kind of too, but 21. Okay, Piku to Abel. Future Android 18 or Lust FMA, both as relationships. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. Good lord. Okay, so I'm going to think about this. Okay. Am I transported to their universes? Am I gonna... Like, if I go to the future timeline and Android 18, like asks me out and I say yes, am I gonna be like, honey, you cannot kill the barista? This is not like, I'm sorry, she's always like this, sir. You know, am I gonna be like that? Or, and if I go to Amestris, I think that's the country of Full Metal Alchemist where it takes place. If I'm gonna go there, am I gonna be a part of the conspiracy from Father? Or are they gonna come here? Oh, man. I don't know. Why do you gotta bring such troubles to this spicy white boy? I can't think of, like... You know, I'm gonna go with Future 18. Well, no. No, I'm gonna go with Lust. I feel like it would be easier for me to keep her from, well, actually, I don't know. No, it wouldn't. No. I'm gonna go with future Android 18. I did just do a 180 there. I'm gonna go with future Android 18. I feel like that if we really cared about each other, I could convince her to mitigate the killing. And I feel like her killing is out of boredom, whereas Lust's killing is out of malevolence. And while they're both pretty malevolent, I feel like future Android 18 would be easier to convince, even though she's not easier to control, because I think she is way stronger. Yeah, future Android 18. That's rough, though. That's rough, because both would be rough on me, I think. Let's not explore that. Okay. Cowboy Curtis 4944. Winry, Rockbell, or Bulma relationship. Android 18 or Revy Thirst. Bulma relationship, even though Winry is cool, and Revy for Thirst, even though Android 18 is spectacular. I'll do that. Okay, Blue Death 882. Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop, or Blonde Launch from Dragon Ball. My reasoning for these two is they are two of the most iconic, tough as nails, badass gunslinging baddies in anime. Asking for thirst trap, but curious if the answer is different for relationship. It's a good question. Man, I don't like what y'all are doing to me. It's weird how you can have two good things and it makes you just as frustrated as if someone gave you two bad things, you know? I'll go with Launch. Even if she's stuck in the blonde, because, like, I feel like she would not steal from me. She would have me help her steal. Yeah. And then again, stealing is against my religion, because I'm Christian. It's in the Ten Commandments. However, if I had to choose, it would be Blonde Launch. Yeah. And they are both tough as nails, iconic, badass gunslinging baddies in anime. I think that Blonde Launch takes the cake on both, though. Faye is awesome, but I also think that Faye has an overinflated sense of self, and that's not the worst thing in the world, especially for an anime character, but I think that Blonde Launch knows exactly who she is, and that's attractive. Okay, Alex Ghost 117. Launch relationship or Botan Thirst? Really? Dude, Botan is so cute, dude. Oh man, that's the... Yeah, I'll go with Launch. Because, like I said earlier, 2 for the price of 1, but also, just like with Sango, I would feel wrong just sleeping with her or Botan and not continuing anything. Like, I feel like I feel scummy for that, you know? Yeah. Okay, Master Ganja, Faye Valentine Thirst versus Bulma Thirst. It depends on the Bulma. If it's Dragon Ball to mid-Dragon Ball Z, Bulma. If it's after the Android arc, I would say Faye. Okay. Sakarie Hashamd V6I. Melee from OG Dragon Ball filler or Princess Snake from DBZ filler. Thirst. Princess Snake. Melee is cool. I need to watch that filler again soon. But Princess Snake, definitely. Yeah, and I wouldn't feel bad about just the thirst for them too. Okay. Frieza-sama, 5802. Hey, what's up, buddy? I recognize most of you again, as usual. Bulma relationship or Kefla Thirst? Bulma relationship. I'm not that big of a Kefla fan, actually. Okay, and last but not least, on the community note, Titus LV462, also known as Wukong, my boy. Fasha, either thirst, sense, or relationship, and Shizuru from Yu Yu Hakusho. Would the smoking be a turnoff in a relationship context, or would you roll with it? Ooh. The smoking would be a turnoff, unfortunately. I would want Fasha to change her hairstyle. Man, that's rough because, like, I'm not really interested in Fasha. I think Shizuru is way cuter. But at the same time, the smoking would be bad. But then again, I guess the genocide would also not be good. I'll go with Shizuru. Smoking's a huge turnoff, but I'll go with Shizuru. Shizuru, she's just got that. She's just got it. You know what I mean? Okay. Now I will go to the Patreon and do a quick Patreon answers, because this is a sort of lightning round. Okay, so Hulk, also called David Killen Durand. Okay, T for thirst and R for relationship. T and R, either or. Alright. Thirst. Anko or Kurenai, Naruto? Ooh. For Naruto. I'm trying to think. Anko is who I think she is, right? Yeah, she is. Kurenai is classically pretty. I love her red eyes, but I guess I'd have to go with Anko. I'll go with Anko, as long as it's not the later Anko. Okay, now Thirst, Yoruichi versus Dark Tournament Tuna Announcer. Come on, dude, you mean Juri. Juri's my favorite girl in Yu Yu Hakusho, other than Coco. I'd have to go with her. I hate it. Why do y'all put Yoruichi against all of my tops? Because Yoruichi deserves better. But yeah, Juri. I go with Juri. She's something else. Okay. Kuwabara's sister for relationship versus Misato Evangelion. Kuwabara's sister is Shizuru, by the way. Misato. Shizuru would be cool, but I think Misato would be more fun. Okay, relationship. Android 18 versus Freerin. Sorry, but Android 18, easily. Freerin would be a great friend, but I wouldn't be interested in Freerin like that. Okay, relationship. Hinata or Fern. Freerin. Fern. Hinata is way too shy for me. Now, shy girls can be cute, but I feel like she's too shy. Okay, this is our thirst or relationship. Faye Valentine versus Yuki, JJK. Ooh, Yuki. That's like the best in JJK. Yuki. I'll go with Yuki. Okay, Thirst, Nell in Bleach, okay, versus Sesshomaru's mom. Inuyasha literally can't find her name. Oh, man. If it's just Thirst, then adult form Nell. Yeah, adult form Nell. Okay, Thirst and relationship, Sango, Inuyasha versus Sui Fang, Bleach. Sango easily. There's nothing wrong with the Bleach character, but like Sango easily, dude. Okay, Thirst, Mira Armstrong, FMA versus Meimei, JJK. Oh, Mira Armstrong. Meimei's attractive, but Mira Armstrong, she... Can you imagine her coming up and flirting with you? That would be insane. I mean, okay, I guess it'd be insane for a lot of these girls, but like... She'd be wearing a cavalry saber and a pistol, and she'd have that look in her eyes. Like you're a soldier. Yeah, definitely Mira. Okay. It feels like too much already, so I'm going to end it with a banger, and I know bangers. Warning, final boss. Thirst and relationship, Frieza versus Whis. Whis, he would be nicer. Okay, last but not least, my boy Stridency, 168. Okay, hey Poutine, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Well, I hope. Yes, I am. Sorry for the long list, but I had a few, and they just kept coming as I wrote them. That's understandable. Lightning round, alright. Thirst, Haruno Sakura versus Hyuga Hinata. This tells me everything about you. Hinata. She might be shyer than Sakura, but like, she's got that body. Okay, thirst, Bulma versus Tsunade. Oh, man. It depends on the Bulma, because Tsunade... I am a tits man. And she is far older than me. It depends on the Bulma. Tsunade half the time, Bulma the other half the time. I can't. Okay. Thirst entered 18 versus 21. I did say this earlier, it was 21, but I hate betraying 18. Okay, Thirst, Fasha versus Gine. Fasha. I would feel weird with Gine. Like I said earlier, she seems like someone I would just hug. Okay. Thirst, Fasha versus that one Toei flashback Saiyan woman with the knife. You know the one I mean. Yes, I do. The Toei flashback Saiyan woman with the knife. That's the one I would choose. Yeah, I probably want her to get a bath first, but yeah, that's the one. Okay, relationship. Sakura, Sasuke, or Bulma and Z Vegeta. Oh, so which one do I think has a better relationship? I have to specify Z because Super or GT Vegeta could cakewalk Sasuke as a husband. Who is the most dysfunctional? Oh, which one is worse? They're both abysmal. And it's not really a part of the questionnaire that we're doing, but I can answer this anyway. I would say Bulma and Z Vegeta are slightly worse, but Sakura and Sasuke is a travesty. I hated that when that became canon. I really did. I dislike both. I hate both. And Stridency, I'm glad you know me well enough to know that I would hate them. Okay, relationship, Fasha versus Gine. Wait, you put that up already. That was relationship. Gine. Gine seems like a good wife, at least. Okay, and the last but not least of all of them, relationship and thirst, Caulifla versus Kale. Caulifla. I like the crop top. I like her boisterous attitude. And she seems like someone who I could train with. I feel like Kale would not train with me, and even if she did, she would either not have any spirit in it, or she would accidentally hit me too hard and I would die. Whereas with Caulifla, I feel like she'd have better control of herself while also being funner. Okay. That's all of it. How long was this? Let me look. Jeez, it's going to be a long video. All right. Okay, guys, I hope you I hope you were as entertained as I was. Remember to like and comment if you think that I deserve it. Subscribing always helps. I don't know if I should recommend you share it, but I guess this is out in public. Why not? And I hope you guys have a great day. All right. See ya. Bye-bye.